Charles F. Weigel spent much of his time as an itinerant evangelist. It was not an easy life, but a rewarding one. I first met him on the campus of Tennessee Temple University at Chattanooga, Tennessee. I'd often sung his songs, and now I had the chance to ask him how he had been led to write "No One Ever Cared for Me Like Jesus." I felt that there had to be something special connected with its writing. Here is the story as it was told to me by Uncle Charlie. I'd been actively engaged in evangelistic work for quite a few years. To some, it may have seemed a life of sacrifice, but to me, the reward of seeing souls saved was worth more than money. God had given me a definite call. I was obeying Him, and He had promised to keep me and supply all my needs. In all of this, I thought I had the support of my wife, but somewhere along the way she began to be influenced by relatives who cared not about the things of the Lord nor understood the calling of God. One day I found a note waiting for me. It said, "Charlie, I've been a fool. I've done without a lot of things long enough. From here on out, I'm getting all I can of what the world owes me. I know you'll continue to be a fool for Jesus, but for me it's goodbye." Uncle Charlie's eyes filled with tears as he told the story. He continued, "The bottom of my world seemed to fall out at that moment, for I loved my wife very much. I found her and tried to reason with her and pleaded with her not to go through with her plans, but it was to no avail. One day as I sat on the porch of a cottage in Florida overlooking a lake, I felt so depressed and forsaken. I thought, why not end it all? Your work is finished. No one cares whether you're dead or alive anyway. Why not walk off the pier?" But through the appalling gloom of that moment, there seemed to flash a voice in my soul that said, "Charlie, I haven't forgotten you. Charlie, I care for you. Let not your heart be troubled." I threw myself down beside my chair and asked the Lord to forgive me for not fully trusting Him, and promised that come what may, from here on out, I'd never again let such a thought cross my mind. I began serving the Lord again. At first it wasn't easy, for some folk did not understand the situation and were reluctant to use me. But slowly the Lord began to heal this hurt also, and soon I was again busy for the Lord. One day I received the sad news that my wife had died, and under very heartbreaking and tragic circumstances. She had had less than 5 years in which to try the world, and eternity had begun for her. What did the future hold for me? It was while reviewing the heart-rending experiences of the past 3 years and reflecting upon the goodness and love of the Savior who never forsook me through it all, that there was rekindled in my soul the desire to write a song. This song would be the summation of my whole life with this wonderful friend. It was a story the whole world needed to know, and it came to me as fast as I could put it down. It was the first song I had written since the day my world seemed to fall apart. Now I wanted the whole wide world to know. No one ever cared for me like Jesus. I said, "Uncle Charlie, was it worth it all to go through the heartache and heartbreak? Don't you often wish that it had never happened?" This reply I'll never forget. Al Smith, it is not for me to question the testing of the Lord, no matter how hard they may seem to be. God, in His love, knows what is best, and someday He'll tell me why it all happened. Until then, I'll go on singing and telling the world that no one ever cared for me like Jesus. Alfred B. Smith. I would love to tell you what I think of Jesus, since I found in him a friend so strong and true. I would tell you how he changed my life completely. He did something that no other friend could do. No one ever cared for me like Jesus. There's no other friend so kind as he. No one else could take the sin and darkness from me. Oh, how much he cared for me. All my life was full of sin till Jesus found me. All my heart was full of misery and woe. Jesus placed his strong and loving arms around me, and he led me in the way I ought to go. No one ever cared for me like Jesus. There's no other friend so kind as he. No one else could take the sin and darkness from me. Oh, how much he cared for me. Every day he comes to me with new assurance. More and more I understand his words of love. But I'll never know just why he came to save me, till someday I see his blessed face above. No one ever cared for me like Jesus. There's no other friend so kind as he. No one else could take the sin and darkness from me. Oh, how much he cared for me.